Alright, third time lucky. Today I am going to do some AQA psychology, and this is the only AQA thing that I'm doing, and I'm sorry, but those are subjects I took and that's my exam board, so yes. So AQA. Today we're going to talk about Asch's line study. So this is on the social influence chapter. So God, that's horrible handwriting. Oh well. So there are two parts. So if you get a 60 marker, you'll have an outline and an evaluate section. So the outline will be worth 6 marks unless it's a STEM question, which you have to make sure you refer to the STEM, because that is very important. It's like, yeah. And then there is an evaluate part, which is worth 10 marks, so you should spend the majority of your time on evaluation, which is what I struggle with, because I don't know when to stop in the outline, but need to work on that. So Asch, he had 123 male undergraduates. Oh, that's not how you spell male. And there were 8 to 10 participants. Participants as in participants in thingy. That I've put them in the speech marks because only one of them was an actual participant. The rest were Confederates, because they knew the real aim. So Confederate equals knows aim. And each participant was shown 18 sets of lines in total, so 18 sets of lines. And 12 of these, on 12 of these trials, the Confederates all gave the wrong answer. So they'd started off with giving the right answer, but on 12 of them they gave the wrong answer, and these are known as critical trials. Ooh, I should probably improve my handwriting, but oh well. And on the and his findings on the critical trials, 36.8% of the responses were wrong, were incorrect. 25% didn't conform, which means that 75% of people did conform at least once. So that was outline part of the section. Next we'll go on to evaluate. Asch did do some variations, and I'll go on to that in a bit, but so first we've got it's ungeneralizable. This is because it was done on 123 male undergraduates. Nito did an experiment, same setup, and he did it with women, and he found that women conformed more. So Asch's line study cannot be generalised to women. So that's one negative. And another negative is it's outdated. It's a child of its time. It was done, I think, in the 1950s. Don't quote me on that. You'll have to search that up because it's nowhere in my book. But yeah, that was when society was much more conformist, and there have been studies which prove that over time, I think it was Twenge et al., people conform less, which shows that it's not really valid. It doesn't have a high validity because it just wouldn't apply to this day and age. And then you need two positives. Positives, I feel like, are harder with Asch and like really basic ones like Zimbardo, because it's so hard to make it specific to the experiment, because remember, you don't get credited if you make it a cut and stick answer, so it has to be specific to Asch. So make sure you include Nito and Twengetal in these like evaluations, because if it's not specific, then they will not credit you for it. So positives, it's controlled. So there was a preset list of pictures and stuff, which means it was unambiguous and everything, and so the investigator effects were reduced because everything was already done for them before the experiment even started, so that increases the validity of the experiment. And yeah, another one is that it was that it had variations, which I will go on to later on. These variations gave a much more broad view of the of conformity, because he used unanimity, task difficulty, and size of majority as well, which gave a much more holistic view of conformity in general. So yeah, that's the evaluate section. You have to make sure you make it specific to Asch's study, because otherwise they just won't give you any credit, like I said like 10 billion times. Anyway, so we are going to go on to his variations. So I'll do this as, oh, where did that go? I'll do this. What is happening? Right, okay, fine. Rub that out. I'll do this as a slide diagram. First of all, there was unanimity, which means that more than one person was saying the right answer. So Asch found that there was less conformity when one of the Confederates didn't conform. So it went from 75% conforming to 25% conforming. Yeah, so this supports NSI and ISI, to be honest, because they have more of a desire to be liked, less of a desire to be liked, and more of a desire to be right. And next up, we've got task difficulty. This meant that this is literally as easy as it is. The more difficult or unclear the task was, the more conformity. That is literally it. Then there was also, someone screaming outside, size of majority. And he found that when there was one Confederate, there was no conformity. I'm going to have to write over. When there was two Confederates, 12.8% on critical trials conformed, and when there were three Confederates, 32% on critical trials conformed. So this really supports normative social influence, because they have the desire to be liked by the majority of the group. So yeah, that is it. That is all of Asch's study. thank you for watching. Yeah. This is another one of my awkward ending stuff. I hope you enjoyed. Bye.